Have you noticed something happening in America's biggest cities? The places that were once thriving black cultural hubs, where music, business, activism, and history were made, are seeing a shift. The black population in cities like New York, Los Angeles, and Chicago is shrinking, and the question is, why? For decades, these cities were magnets for black Americans seeking opportunity, safety, and community. But today, the tide has turned. Black families are packing up and leaving, some by choice, others by force. What's driving this modern exodus? Is it the soaring cost of living, the grip of gentrification, a search for better opportunities? The numbers don't lie. Black residents are leaving these cities at alarming rates. But where are they going? And more importantly, why? Before we dive into these 10 cities, we want to hear from you. Have you or someone you know left a major city in recent years? What was the biggest reason? Let us know in the comments below. And while you're here, don't forget to hit that like button to help more people see this important discussion. And subscribe to stay updated on topics that matter to our community. All right, let's get into it. Here are 10 U.S. cities where black people are leaving, and the real reasons behind it. First stop on our journey. The Motor City, Detroit. Once known as the Black Mecca of the Midwest, Detroit has been losing black residents at an alarming rate. The black population in the city peaked in the 1980s, when it made up around 75% of the total population. However, between 2000 and 2020, over 150,000 black residents left, and today, the percentage of black residents is around 77%. But the overall city population is shrinking fast. The reasons: economic decline and lack of resources. The collapse of the auto industry in the early 2000s led to job losses. School closures, high crime rates, and poor city services have further pushed residents to leave. Many black Detroiters are moving to suburban areas like Southfield and even out of state to Atlanta and Dallas, where economic prospects are better. We journey now to the bustling metropolis of New York City, New York. It has historically been a hub for black culture, economic opportunity, and social movements. From Harlem's Renaissance to Brooklyn's deep-rooted black communities, the city has long been a significant home for African Americans. However, the black population in NYC has been declining. In 2000, black people made up about 28% of the city's population. By 2020, that number had dropped to around 24%, with over 200,000 black residents leaving between 2000 and 2020. The primary reason? Cost of living. NYC is one of the most expensive cities in the world. Skyrocketing rents, increasing property taxes, and the influx of wealthier residents due to gentrification have priced many black families out. Brooklyn, which was once a black stronghold, has seen an exodus due to rapid real estate development. Additionally, wage disparities and job competition make it harder for black residents to sustain themselves. Many are heading to places like Atlanta, Charlotte, and Houston, where housing is more affordable. From the East Coast, we head west to the sprawling metropolis of Los Angeles, California. Los Angeles was a key destination during the second wave of the Great Migration, offering job opportunities and a better quality of life. However, over the past few decades, the black population has steadily declined. In 1980, black residents made up 17% of the city's population. Today, that number is around 8%. Gentrification is one of the biggest factors. South Central LA, once predominantly black, has seen a dramatic shift with Latinx and white populations moving in. Many historically black neighborhoods, like Leimert Park and Crenshaw, have seen housing costs skyrocket, forcing black residents out. Additionally, systemic issues like lack of job opportunities, police violence, and underfunded schools contribute to the migration. Many black Angelenos are moving to cities like Las Vegas, Phoenix, and the southern states where homeownership is more attainable. Our next stop takes us to the shores of Lake Erie to Cleveland, Ohio. Cleveland has lost a significant portion of its black population over the years. In 2000, black people made up 51% of Cleveland's population. By 2020, that number had dropped to 47%, with thousands leaving every year. Job losses, failing public schools, and crime are major reasons for the exodus. Many black residents are relocating to nearby suburbs or heading south to states like Georgia and Florida, where job opportunities and affordable housing are more accessible. Next up, we head to the Windy City, Chicago. Chicago has long been a cultural and political powerhouse for Black America. However, in recent years, it has seen one of the largest declines in black residents of any major city. In 2000, black people made up 36% of Chicago's population. By 2020, that number had fallen to 28%, with over 250,000 black residents leaving in the past 2 decades. Crime and economic opportunity are major factors. While Chicago has a vibrant black middle class, many lower-income black residents struggle with job opportunities, underfunded schools, and gun violence in areas like the South and West Sides. High taxes and expensive living costs further push people out. Many black Chicagoans are heading to the South, states like Texas, Georgia, and Tennessee, where jobs are more available, and homeownership is within reach. Wow, this is a lot to take in, right? It's crazy to see how much things have changed in these cities over the years. But now, we want to hear from you. Have you noticed these shifts in your own city? Maybe you've had to move yourself, or you know someone who has. Drop a comment below and tell us your experience. What's driving black people out of major cities? And where do you think they're headed next? And while you're at it, don't forget to hit that like button if you're finding this video eye-opening. It really helps get this conversation out to more people. Also, if you love content like this, make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss our next deep dive. Speaking of which, what other topics should we cover? More about black migration? The best cities to move to? Let us know in the comments, and we just might feature your idea in our next video. From the heartland, we head north to Milwaukee, Wisconsin. It has one of the highest black-white economic disparities in the country, leading many black residents to leave. In 2000, black residents made up 39% of Milwaukee's population. By 2020, that number had dropped to 35%. One of the main reasons is the city's lack of economic mobility. Milwaukee has high incarceration rates for black men, underfunded schools, and limited job opportunities. As a result, many black residents are moving to places like Texas and Georgia, where they have a better shot at homeownership and economic advancement. These trends highlight a larger pattern. Black Americans are searching for places where they can build wealth, feel safe, and thrive without the burdens of gentrification, crime, and high costs of living. Many are finding that the South and parts of the Midwest provide better opportunities, and this modern migration is reshaping Black America's demographic landscape. Our journey takes us to Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, a city rich in history and culture. Philadelphia has long been one of the largest black-populated cities in America, but in recent years, the black population has been declining. In 2000, black residents made up 44% of the city. By 2020, that number had dropped to 38%, with over 60,000 black people leaving the city. Like other cities, rising costs and gentrification are pushing residents out. North Philly and West Philly, historically black areas, are seeing rapid development that is increasing property values beyond affordability. Additionally, crime and underfunded schools are causing families to look for safer, more stable environments in the suburbs or the South. From Philadelphia, we travel to Washington, D.C., a city with a rich history and a vibrant black community. Washington, D.C., once known as Chocolate City, has seen a dramatic shift in its black population. In 1970, black people made up 71% of the city. Today, that number has dropped to 41%, with tens of thousands leaving every year. Gentrification is one of the biggest factors. Historically, black neighborhoods like Shaw, U Street, and Anacostia are becoming unaffordable due to rising rents and property values. Additionally, government and tech jobs have brought in wealthier transplants, making it harder for lower-income Black residents to remain. Many are moving to Prince George's County, Maryland, and southern states like North Carolina and Georgia for better affordability. Our journey brings us to New Orleans, Louisiana, a city that pulsates with music, culture, and a spirit of resilience. New Orleans has been a cultural and historical stronghold for Black Americans for centuries. However, since Hurricane Katrina in 2005, the city has seen a significant drop in its Black population. Before the storm, Black people made up about 67% of New Orleans residents. Today, that number is around 58%. The aftermath of Katrina led to massive displacement. Many Black residents never returned due to lack of resources, unaffordable housing, and government neglect. The rebuilding of the city has favored wealthier residents, with historically Black neighborhoods like the Lower Ninth Ward still struggling to recover. Many Black New Orleanians have moved to Texas, especially Houston, which welcomed many evacuees after Katrina. Our final stop takes us to Oakland, California, a city that has long been held up as a beacon of Black progress, a symbol of the New West. Oakland has a rich Black history, from its role in the Civil Rights Movement to the rise of the Black Panther Party. In 1980, Black people made up about 47% of Oakland's population. Today, that number is below 24%, with thousands leaving each year. The cause? Extreme gentrification and rising housing costs. As Silicon Valley has expanded, housing prices have skyrocketed. Many Black families who once owned homes have been displaced by higher taxes or cash offers from developers. Additionally, job displacement and the lack of Black business support have made it difficult to sustain a stable livelihood in the city. Many former Oakland residents are heading to Texas and Georgia, where they can afford to build wealth. So, there you have it. 10 U.S. cities where Black people are leaving and the real reasons behind it. It's clear that the landscape of Black America is shifting, and people are making moves to build better lives, whether it's for affordability, safety, or new opportunities. Please hit that like button to support the channel. If you haven't already, subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss another deep dive like this. Until next time, stay informed, stay empowered, and we'll see you in the next video.